Hey guys, thanks for watching. So what you see here is the H&K MR556A1 upper kit. So this is just the upper, and this is a very, very sweet, very high-end AR-15 upper. So as you can tell, it does come with this case, and I'll just show you what comes in here, and then I'll run through this upper just a little bit. So first off, you're going to get your operator's manual. It's a nice quality manual. It goes through everything you need. It does come with this case that you see here. Pretty nice case. And then it also comes with your recoil spring. This does use just a little bit different recoil spring than most other AR-15 uppers. It's just a little bit stiffer spring. And it also comes with an HK decal, or an HK sticker, and an Allen wrench that you're going to use on that upper to take the handguard off. So primarily this is an upper that I think mostly will be an institutional gun. I think mostly military and law enforcement are going to be the ones that actually are using this a lot, mostly because of cost. This is about a $1,900 upper, so that's a very expensive upper, and it's really high quality, but I think most civilians just aren't going to put the money into that. And in the midst of this kind of assault weapons ban scare, I know somebody who is wanting to put together an AR, and really your only two options out there right now are overpay for the cheap stuff or try to find the expensive stuff in stock. And so the only stuff that's really in stock right now is the really high-end stuff, and he had enough money and was willing to put the money into going for something really high-end. So this is where we are. So it's a very cool upper. And so I'll just start from the front end, go back, and just talk about this. So as you can tell, it does come with just a standard bird cage on there. It is open all the way around. That'll be effective at killing the flash. It is just a standard threading, so if you want to throw a compensator or any other style of muzzle device on there, you can. Now it is open on the bottom, as you can tell. Some of them are closed off there. So what that means is that if you're going prone with this in like a dusty environment, some of those gases will be able to go out the bottom, so it might kick up a little bit of dust in your face. But other than that, I don't really see any downsides to it. It's a good quality flash hider. You can notice your barrel on here up front is a very good thickness. It's really what you describe as a heavy profile barrel. Very thick barrel. You come back here, and here's your handguards and your gas block up there. This is a piston-driven system, and if you don't know what that means, basically this is using a short-stroke gas piston to push your bolt back. And most AR-15s are using a direct gas impingement. So I'll just pull this handguard off real quick, and then we can see a little bit better what we're talking about. So what you're going to do to take this handguard off, this is one of the really cool things about the MR556A1, is that it's very easy to take this handguard off to service it or whatever, and it's also free-floated, so that will enhance accuracy. So what we're going to do here is this handguard will return to 0 once you take it off. You'll notice it has a notch in it right there into the receiver, so it will return to 0. So all you're going to do is take this Allen wrench that it comes with. So you may want to store this Allen wrench in your pistol grip or somewhere on the gun so that you have it with you if you ever need to take this down. And the other cool thing about it is that while this pin that you're unscrewing right here takes this Allen wrench, if you flip it over on this side, you can tell that you could also use a flathead screwdriver. So they do give you some extra options there. So you're just going to unscrew this. It is a captive pin. So you unscrew it, and you also notice I do have these rail covers and this Magpul AFG on here. Those I added; those don't come with the gun, but they do add a lot better ergonomics to it. They really enhance the feel. So you notice your pin unscrews, and it's captive, so you don't have to worry about losing that. And then you're just going to remove this. So you slide it off the front there. And you'll notice you have a really thick barrel back here. So, I thought it looked kind of thick up here at first. It's really thick back here. I mean, that's like a piece of artillery. There's a massive thickness of barrel right there. And you'll also notice you have your gas piston there. And just talking about that barrel a little bit, This gun is really kind of a hybrid between a carbine or an M4 platform carbine, but also the Marines have adopted this gun to replace some of their M249 SAW machine guns, light machine guns. So this is a gun that's, while it is a carbine type package, it's really set up to take a very high volume of fire and to be able to handle that. So this is a gun that you could really crank a lot of rounds through. You're not going to have to worry about melting your barrel too much. This is a gun that can handle a lot of fire. So this is maybe a candidate that you'd want to consider putting a really nice trigger in the lower so that you could really, rapid fire this. Obviously, this is the semi-automatic version. The one that institutions are adopting right now is a select fire version. And speaking of institutions, lots and lots of people really like this gun. JSOC, Joint Special Operations Command, they're the ones in charge of Delta Force and the SEALs and everybody. They have adopted this HK. NASA, their security forces have actually adopted this. LAPD, FBI hostage rescue, lots of people that really know what they're doing have adopted this platform. So it's a really nice gun. And as you can tell, if you hold this, it's really built very strong. It's built to withstand institutional use. Years and years of heavy use. It's really built for that. So looking at this gas piston here, you'll notice that this is pretty easy to take apart. It's very easy to service. So you're just going to pull back on this black piece, spring loaded, and you can remove that. Just pull it up, pull that out. So this is actually very similar to something like an AK-47 system using a piston system, and this is also a system that was borrowed off of the H&K G36, which has been a rifle that many people have used for a lot of years by H&K. This is a very reliable system. Then this is your gas piston up here. So this just slides up into your gas block. And so when you're cleaning the rifle, this is going to be what you want to clean. And this right here is really the most important part to have lubricated right in here. And so what that's going to do is when you're firing this, it's going to move all the dirt and heat and all that stuff up here, up forward into your gas block. Now if you look at a standard AR-15 like this is a standard upper. I took the handguards off. You'll notice, first off, much thinner barrel profile. This is more of a carbine barrel profile. This is more what I would consider kind of a medium profile. You also notice that there is this rod right here. What this is doing is that's just jetting the gases back into your receiver, and it's directly pushing your bolt carrier group with those gases. So in this system, this is the direct gas impingement system, you're going to get a lot more heat and dirt and fouling inside your bolt carrier group. Now, some people will call the system broken. I would disagree. This is a very well proven system. It's been used for a lot of years. But this is nice too, and if you had the choice, I would probably choose the piston system just for absolute reliability and durability. So moving on, you'll notice it's very easy to put back together. You just gotta stick this back in there and pop it back together. So there you go. The other thing you'll notice is that on your rail system, it is numbered up here at the top, and it's a very tight fit. They did a really good job with the machining on here. So when you slide this on, when it goes over your barrel nut right here, it's very tight. You can tell it really locks perfectly in there. It's just really nice craftsmanship on here. So you just pop your bolt back in there, your pin, and tighten that back down. So I really like how easy this handguard is to take on and off, especially with that piston system, because you're going to have to take it on and off in order to clean it, the rifle. So they really do a good job with that. Okay. So your receiver comes back here, and as you can tell, you have a standard forward assist, just like any other M4 platform rifle. Your dust cover here is actually polymer. That's a little different. Whatever works. I'm not completely sure what H&K's reasoning was for going with the polymer dust cover, but it seems to be durable, seems to work just fine. And so we'll pull this bolt out of here, and I believe, as best as I can tell, that this is a standard AR-15 charging handle. You'll notice that on the back here, it's they put a spacer in the left side here. So if you wanted to, you could pop these two pins out and reverse your latch. So right now it's on the right side. You could put it on the left side and then just take that spacer and put it on the other side. So it is a good quality charging handle. It's not ambidextrous, but it is, you know, convertible. Now, if we compare this to, you know, to another charging handle, this is a KZ ambidextrous charging handle. I believe that they are the same. So if you wanted to replace this, you probably could. So, alright, looking at the bolt now. It's a really nicely made bolt. You'll notice that this piece right here, your gas key, is all machined in, actually. If you look at a standard AR-15 bolt, this is my BCM from my DI direct gas impingement gun. You notice that this gas key up here is actually bolted and staked on. So this H&K should just be, theoretically, just a little bit more reliable. Has just one less piece to fail. They are completely different designs. You'll notice some similarities, but they're not interchangeable, you know, parts-wise. You'll also notice that this H&K is tapered there on the back. That is to help with carrier tilt. And all carrier tilt is that when your pusher rod comes back, you know, it's not completely centered, so, you know, some bolts would have the tendency to want to rock back when they get pushed, and that can cause excess, you know, more wear on the back. So they did put that bevel on there just to help, you know, combat that carrier tilt. And so far, I don't think there's been any reports of that being a problem with the HK. It's had lots and lots of use, you know, in battle areas, and I think the reports so far are that it's a very durable, reliable system. So I don't think that's anything you're going to have to worry about. So you just put this back together the same way as any other AR rifle. Just pop your charging handle in there. And it all goes together. Okay, so moving on, you also notice that they didn't actually include any sights with this upper, so that is something that you'd have to add on here, is, you know, pick your favorite set of sights and put it on there. It would be very easy to configure this with, you know, whatever optics you want. Whether it be a red dot scope, night vision, anything you want to put on here, you can do that fairly easily. And, you know, some of the very original versions of this were not compatible with standard AR-15 lowers. This one is. And obviously you'll have to put that recoil spring in there. Just to demonstrate that, this is my lower. This is a New Frontier polymer lower, so this isn't really nearly on par with the H&K upper, but it's a standard size. So I'll just show you here that it does fit. So there you go. Locks on there nice and easily, and there you go. So it will work on whatever lower you want to put it on, and I'd really actually recommend that if you're gonna go put this together, that you do buy a separate lower. If you buy the completed HK rifle, I'm honestly not the biggest fan of their lower. For one reason is that their magwell is cut differently, so it actually won't even accept things like PMags. It has to basically have the profile of a standard GI mag to fit in there. So things like the Magpul E-Mag, Lancer mags will fit, but a standard PMag won't. So if you're going to put together a really nice rifle, I would recommend just going with a more standard lower for this. So if you have any questions about this rifle, feel free to leave that in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And I'll just give you one last look at this. Very cool rifle. One thing I didn't mention is that on that bolt is actually made in Germany. The majority of this rifle is made in the US, but the bolt's actually made in Germany, and you actually can see the German proof marks on there from where they tested it and everything. So very cool rifle. So there you go. If you have any questions, again, feel free to ask. If you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Have a nice day, and thanks for joining me.